Hello, my name is Lady Calamere. I welcome you to my channel. If you are new here, marry me. And if you're a subscriber, marry me again. So I am doing my four 390th presentation on the Egyptian god Heka. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Today is May 5th, 2026. So Heka, we're going to be talking about him. Have you ever heard of him? Have you ever heard of the word Heka? Well, here is his card. I want to give credit where credit is due. And it says alchemical force on an oracle card. And it comes from the Egyptian Gods Oracle cards by Sylvana Alasia. And it's done by Los Scarabeo, which is owned by Llewellyn. So you can go over to Llewellyn's website and order it, or to Amazon, or to your local bookstore, occult store, new age store, metaphysical store, new age, whatever, and ask if they can get it for you. So Heka is ancient beyond ancient. Okay, Heka is not only a word that's used for magic, where we see the god Tahuti, Thoth, who is mighty in Heka, and Isis, aka her original name, Set, who was second to none in Heka. But what is Heka? Heka is magic. But was it just a magic of superstition, of what people now would call superstition? No. Heka was a force in life in which the goddesses used for all sorts of things, for creation, for healing, for protection. They used Heka, and also the magical words, which were Heka. Heka translates as to magic. So we think of the witch casting his Heka. We think of the magician casting her or his Heka. Okay, we think of folk magic Heka, but also Heka was part of life. Now, Heka didn't have any cult of worship into the late period. Okay, he didn't have temples into the late period of Egypt. All right, but even before that, Heka was there. Heka was used. Heka is the words. Heka is the force. Heka is the energy. Heka is the ability. So Heka was magic, but also that of healing. So Heka is a god of healing and magic and the alchemical force, the ability to change something into something else. Okay, so Heka was known throughout all of Egypt. Now there is depictions, these symbols, in which I have a book called Offerings to Isis, and you draw this symbol, and then you put your offering there. Is dealing with Heka, the, the hands of offering. And this is a symbol of the god, and so is this. What is it, boo? You were quiet until the second I turned on the camera. That's when you have to be known, right? So Heka is a man who sometimes holding a, a knife and even a staff. Stop! He also at times carries the Ankh, which is the cross with the loop on top, which of course Christianity starts claiming as their own, which it's not. Sometimes he is seen choking two serpents, which which is the image of victory over trouble, victory over chaos, victory over dangerous forces. And sometimes he's wearing the hem crown, which has been attributed to divine birth of the deities of God and the goddess. Heka is also used for healing. So, not just magic, not just of chanting and changing things, but used for healing. So, let's go read a little bit from this Egyptian Gods Oracle Cards by Sylvana Ale- Alasia. Sorry, hope I'm pronouncing the name right. So, we'll read this. And that's cute. I can't find it. Sorry. So, Heka, magic was part of the Egyptian life. It was the priests and priestesses that would use this power to control the forces and to manipulate things. What's this? Heka is a god. So this is coming. Heka, a chemical force. Heka is the god of magic and also of healing medicine. The universe was created thanks to magic, and life also depends on it. He is a god who has no origins. His name means the first work. Heka reveals himself in the feelings of human beings and expresses himself in their language. He offers determination in order to dominate the capacity to create. The alchemist purifies base and raw materials to turn them into gold, giving you vitality, energy, magnetism, and strength at all levels. He allows you to successfully develop your accomplishment. He has appeared to you to give you the ability to control in any direction or to dominate all the elements. So that's what it says, and this is coming from the Egyptian oracle cards. So all the gods used Heka, used this power, whether it was Set, Horus, Ra, Sobek, Asar, Ptah, Khonsu. They all used this. Heka, with his knife, used that as a symbol of protection, as well as the staff to use to command. So at times he even carried a crook and flail. And these are the emblems of the pharaoh, the kingship. So he didn't just govern magic, spells, and force, but also over life and creation itself. Heka has no mother or father that I was able to ever find. And it's not to be fused with the goddess Heket. There is a frog goddess Heket, which I already covered, but it is not to be confused with the goddess Heket. The major cult center of Heka was Esna. I wasn't able to find. There are stories that he doesn't have parents, but then later on, I'm just trying to think. There were parents attributed, but from when I don't I think it's just people trying to give him parents because from what I understand, he was before the gods. He was before the gods. I mean, then later on we find different parentage. I think I'm trying to think. Phnom, who created, but I think he was a force. What I'm trying to say is before he even took any type of manifestation, he was a force, an ancient force, predating the gods. So if he predated the gods, then I really not, I mean, he could have been something that was ancient and then decides to become incarnate, as you know how Vishnu becomes incarnate, but even though he's more ancient than all these incarnations. So these are his symbols. He is the power to create. He can be used power to create or to destroy, to heal, and to even put fear. And it was says that even his great energies and his power can put awe and fear into the gods who came into creation after him. And it says that he had loads and spirits, many powers within his very mouth. And it was said that he came into being of his own creation. And the gods, when they saw him, and the gods and goddesses that saw him, celebrated. They rejoiced in him. Okay. So Heka in the Greek myth, general myth, so he's later seen as a part of the solar bark of of a million years, where he helps protect Ra. He helps Ra to go into night and come back. Okay. He's also the protector of the great god Asar, aka Osiris, in the underworld, the Duat. And another thing is he protects him. So when we see like in the Ptolemaic dynasty, which is much later on among the Ptolemies, his role as a god is to authenticate and proclaim the king, the pharaoh's right to rule his enthronement. Okay, giving divine right to rule. Now, it's later that he is seen as the son of the ram headed god, which I already discussed in a previous uh, presentation. But again, that is in later times. In the older times, there is no parents. Now, Heka also has close association with words, with speech. When we think about chanting and mantras and to do incantations, these are his powers. They were also the deed, the thought, the images in which things are magic. So when you do the not spell by not a one, the spell is begun, we can say that is Heka. When singing magical chants to raise the power in a circle, and it goes from slow to fast, 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 till you hit a crescendo, then stop, we can see that as Heka of raising the energy, proclaiming your will over something, or to summon, invocate, or evocation is all dealing with this God. So he's been called Hekaf, Hekawi. Uh, then we see we're at Hakau, Hakau, which is Heka in a plural form. We see Weret Hakau, which means the great goddess of magic. So we see more of a feminine form to this being. So Esna is actually Latopolis. I wish I was. This shows I don't have any notes. I'm scatterbrained, I know. But hey, these presentations are free. I'm not demanding any money. I'm not going to have a Patreon account and say, oh, well, you can only watch this if you pay me this much. I do these. It's my time, and it's my time. It's basically what cost you is your time to watch this. Heka claimed to all the gods and goddesses, to all the deities, the universe was mine before you gods came into being. The universe was mine. All right. So that says a lot about him. Heka was also used in funerary practices. So he was used in the funerary rites, dealing with, taking care of the corpse. So again, it's not just about life, but also dealing with the funerary practices. He was called upon during religious rites. So there may not have been temples until the late period, but people knew him. The priest, the clergy used him and used this power. So it's like he's the magic and energy that you can use. It's like picking up a stick and using the energy of that, touching a tree and using the energy, the magic of that, the magic of picking up an ordinary. We're not talking about magic crystal, even just a magic, just an ordinary stone, and finding the energy of magic within it. And of course, crystals and stuff. And with his hem crown, it's basically associates him with, again, I think I said that, divine birth. Sorry. Yeah. This is, so he is used for whatever magic you want. Folk magic, sympathetic magic, transcendental magic, whether just using magic to raise your conscience and become self realized and protect, whether it's protection or to get that money or to get that job. But Heka is everywhere. Everything you can use, you can utilize. There's so many things you can utilize for Heka. Heka, you can use simple things to create powerful rituals. Nowadays, you talk about chaos magic. Some people are really proficient at drawing a sigil onto a piece of paper or a napkin in the restaurant and really focusing their will on it and be done with it. And then sometimes even getting what they desire. I can't say it's 100%, but manifesting what they want. Now we call it manifesting. We don't want to call it spells. Ooh, we don't want to associate with witchcraft, so we call it manifesting. We use manifesting, so it's okay for Christians to do manifesting. Now, of course, I like using the word manifesting, but manifesting, spell casting, ceremonies, and rituals. So he was the force that exists. He is the force, was, is, and shall always be the force that exists in all things. So he was, in essence, that helped Ra and Atum create. He's a pervasive force and manipulating of those energies. The Heka was part of everyday life and is part of everyday life. I do my mantras every morning, every time I wake up. When I'm cleaning, when I do dishes, I do my mantras and focus what I need and want or would like to desire to have. And raising that energy while I'm cleaning the dishes and making things a sacred task and really getting into things where I'm cooking and I'm doing my chants, uh, feeding my cats, things like that. You can do things when you're doing ordinary things, and as long as you're concentrating on what you're doing and you're not gonna hurt yourself, that's great. So Heka, there's another symbol of him, and they don't show it here. They have Ra here and the snake. Let me go, and I luckily I have the microphone so I can keep talking. Okay. So Heka is also I'm gonna be looking for the picture while I talk to you. Heka can be used is seen as a twisted rope. And it looks what does that remind you of? He's also represented by the hieroglyph Ka. So it was him that puts the power into Ka. Oh, here we go. Let me go. Trying to see if I could get a good image of it. Ah, here we are. There's this. That is Heka. And there's another image of him. So Ka is the life force. So the word Heka, if you look at the word Heka, He is the how can I say it? The positive, the active force of activity. And then the Ka is the force of life. So He Ka, He active, the active energy, and Ka, the force of life. There was another here. This is another image of him. I'll leave that there. Got it? So, do you have a good idea of who Heka is? Yeah, just trying to think of what else I can think of. Just trying to think what else that I didn't talk about. And if I can't remember, I think there was something else I wanted to talk about. Trying to get my brain to work. I'm not feeling so great today. Oh shoot! Speaking of which, Hecka and healing, I have to take my antibiotic, which I am 20 minutes late. Uh, so, have you ever heard of Hecka as a god or a word? There's a lot more to research with this god, but I've given you a very good idea of what this god stands for and who he is. The other thing I wanted to come up, the Old Kingdom pyramid text. So, depict this god as supernatural energy, even in the pyramid text. So supernatural energy. Oh, but anyways, thank you for watching this video, and If you can, for nature, think about, let me close this window. Thinking about feeding, leaving some flowers out. Maybe buy enough plants of flower if you can in your yard or your garden, so that something like hummingbirds and bees, like pollinators, can eat something because we need our bees. I think about feeding a squirrel, make a little habitat for birds. I did for birds and squirrels. I love feeding them. They're so cute to watch. I never thought it would be as fun as it is, especially for my cats. They love it. Lady Boss, you want to say anything to anybody? You're up there looking. You're so cute. Look at that. Look at her. So, anyways, I want to thank you for watching my video. Please share my presentation with your friends and family. Um, and thank you, and please like and subscribe to my channel so I know I'm doing a great job. That's the way you can pay me. You can also send good energy my way for protection, money, wealth, healing, which I definitely need. Even if you see this video 5 years, 10 years down the road, I will accept it. So that's a good way to pay me. If you want, if you know who I am, you can slip me a few dollars. I don't mind. But these videos will be free, and they will continue to be free. Maybe one day I might make a Patreon account, but I just don't want to be one of these people. I mean, I respect people who do it, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to say, hey, if you pay me $10, you'll get extra videos and stuff. I've been doing this since no, I've been doing the YouTube videos and stuff since 2020, November 2020. But I've been teaching for a very long time. I used to do Facebook Lives, videos before that, and I used to do in-person presentations, and they were always free. So, anyways, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Love you. As always, blessed be.